Okay, let's get started. We're going to use our partial fractions technique to kind of break up this fraction. So step one in the process is to factor the denominator. And notice it is factored. Okay, so that's done. Second step in the process is to set up our fractions based upon our rules of partial fractions. So since this is a binomial squared, it's actually going to give us two fractions in here. The first one, since it's squared, it's just going to be the binomial x minus 1. And then the next one is going to be x minus 1 quantity squared. Each one of these is going to get its own numerator, a and b, and essentially the goal of the rest of the problem is to solve for a and b, and that will give us our partial fractions. So we did step one, that was already done for us, factor the denominator. Step two is set up our fractions using our rules. So let's move on to solving for a and b. So step three in the process is to take whatever this denominator is, x minus 1 quantity squared, and we're going to multiply through the entire equation by x minus 1 quantity squared. When we do that, over here, they're going to cancel. That's good news. All that's left is 2x minus 3. And over here, one of these copies of x minus 2 are going to cancel. What's left? A times the remaining copy. And then over here, notice both copies are going to cancel. What's left is a b. So what I'm going to do now is going to try to just clean up the mess over here and organize it in such a way so I like to call it the x games. So I notice this is the only one with an x over here, so I'm going to write it by itself. And then these two, I'm going to kind of group together, negative a plus b, and I'm going to try to make it look like the format that's on the left-hand side. So if you notice right now, 2 is the coefficient in front of x, so I can make a conclusion about what the value of a is. Notice 3 is the constant, and it doesn't have any x's, just like this group over here. So the reason why I call it the match game is you can see the format on each side, and remember these are equal to one another, so we can conclude that a must be equal to 2, and the other equation we can write is negative a plus b must be equal to negative 3. Well, since we already know what a is 2, so therefore negative a plus b equals negative 3, b equals negative 1. So how do I write my answer? Well, I'm just going to rewrite this, my partial fractions, with my new values for a and b. So therefore we have 2 over x minus 1, and then I'm going to put a minus 1 to represent b, all over x minus 1 quantity squared. And that is our partial fractions.